This is Arjo's Sara Flex. Sara stands for Standing and Raising Aid. It's designed for a patient that would be considered a moderate assist. The device is a truly battery-operated mobile device. It has a battery that snaps in and snaps out. Every unit comes with two batteries. One will be in the unit ready to go. The other one will be on the unit charged. They are typically rotated every 12 hours, for example, at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. To engage the Sara Flex, just press the green button. To disengage it, simply press the red button. The device has a remote with 4 basic buttons. The 2 up and down arrows raise the bar and lower it. The 2 buttons on the side open and close the legs. The legs open in a staggered fashion. These buttons are also built in on the mast, so you have a couple of options to use when you're operating the device. When moving a patient in the Sara Flex, it's always going to be easier to move the patient with the legs closed. There are brakes on the system that you just apply by pushing down and kicking back up. The Sara Flex has a silicone knee pad. This is going to be a more comfortable stand for the patient. In addition to that, when the person's knees press in, it allows us to replicate a more natural nose over toes position. The Sara Flex also comes with a calf strap. This strap is used to hold a person in place if necessary. You could capture both legs, one leg, or neither leg, dependent upon your clinical judgment when working with the patient. The patient wears a sling that comes in a variety of sizes: small, medium, large, and extra large. The sling is a wipeable sling, so you can simply wipe it down with whatever product you use to clean your slings. We are now going to get our patient Melissa back to bed. If you recall from the assessment criteria, Melissa weighs less than 400 pounds. She has limited weight bearing on one leg. The other leg could have no weight bearing. The other leg could be missing in the event of an amputation. If that other leg had strong weight bearing, we would not be using this device because we would be creating passivity. So what I'm going to do now is put the small sling on her. When I put the sling on her, I want to make sure that the bend or the frown is facing down. That's going to go a few inches above her tailbone. As my patient leans forward, this comes around her here like so. We're now going to attach the belt. Very good. It's going to come around here and come around here. I'm now going to open the legs and bring the device to Melissa. I'm going to bring it to her and have her put her legs on the platform. If they're really weak, I may need to assist her. So she puts one leg on there and one leg in there. I'm going to bring the device so that the knee pad is up against her knees. I'm going to lock the brake like so and lock the brake like so. I now have 2 choices of clip to choose to connect it to the Sara Flex. I'm wanting my patient to lean forward so I can get a nose over toes position, and this will give me an idea of which clip to choose. So, very good. I'm going to have my patient put her hands on the handbars. Remember, all she needs is one hand to hang on. So if she maybe had survived a stroke or was missing a hand or had an impaired hand, that could stay over here. I'm going to cue my patient to stand up with the device. When I'm working with the patient, I'm going to stand next to the side of my patient. She might be nervous. I may need to interact with her, do some facilitation. I don't want to be standing away from my patient. We're getting ready to stand, so I want you to use your legs as best as you can. You're going to look up. I'm going to push the raised arrow, and we're going to begin to stand. There we go. I have her standing very comfortably. From here, I could do a number of things. I could give her a toothbrush or a comb and she could brush her hair. I could, if I needed to manage her clothing to get it to the bathroom, I have easy access to her clothing. I could also check for wounds and such. If I'm behind her, I could also work on her balance and such. So we've done really well. We're now going to bring her back to bed. So I'm going to now unlock my brakes and bring my patient to the bed. Here we go. So now, if you recall, I locked the brakes to raise her. I unlock them to lower her. The reason is, when raising her, I want to make sure everything's stable. When I'm lowering her, the brakes on the bed are locked, so the device will accommodate for her position. If both were locked, it could create some discomfort, and I really don't want that to happen. So we're going to now sit you back down, so get ready to sit, and we're going to bring her to a seated position. And you can see the device moving a little bit with her. Once I get it lowered, I'm now going to have her put her hand over here to stabilize herself. As she comes in, I just undo that, undo that. I'm going to have her lift up her feet and pull her back. We've now got her back to her bed safely. So if I want to attach the calf strap, I have a couple of options. I can come around and capture both calves and attach. Or if I only want to capture one, because only one leg is weak, I can weave and come around and capture the other one. So now this is the weak leg. If there's a situation where maybe she has non-weight bearing or an external fixator on her leg and she cannot get this leg over here, what I can do is I can have her bring this leg out to the side. So it's going to be out like so. As I have my patient lean in forward, we will get her hooked up again. And I can raise her a couple of ways. I could have a second person hold her leg as she comes to a stand, or I can come over here from the side, excellent, she's grabbing here, and spot the leg. And as we come up to a stand, I'm respecting the precaution on that leg. And once she comes up to a full stand, we can bring this leg around. And now we would do whatever we normally would do to respect toe touch weight bearing, or if she had the weight bearing, we're good to go. There are some important things to consider. What happens if things are not going according to plan? So sometimes you may put a patient in the device that doesn't have the appropriate weight bearing. Perhaps there's been a status change. So in this case, Melissa is not going to be using the legs. And when you see her stand, you're going to notice some distinct differences. You're going to see pressure and pulling happening at her low back. Here we go. You ready? So we're not using our legs. So you can see how it's starting to arch and bring her up. When that happens, we're going to reverse the process and have a conversation. I may need to remind her to use her legs. It may determine that something's happened and I need to terminate the maneuver and do a full assessment. In some situations, my patient may actually have improved and is more advanced than the device. So in this case, as I stand my patient up, she's standing up independently or beating the device. So now she's getting out. And so here the device is doing nothing. And clearly, this is the wrong device for here, so I need to bring it to a different device. The Sara Flex also is equipped with a scale. When you turn the device on, the scale will come on and automatically zero itself out. But when I'm wanting to calculate Melissa's weight, I need to actually factor in the sling. So when I put the sling on the device, you'll see the scale go up. It now says 0.6. But if I now simply push the button, it'll net and go to 0. So now when I put the sling on Melissa, the device is just now showing her weight at 64.6 kilograms. There's a toggle that I can toggle and get that weight in pounds as well. So let's assume I stood her up and I forgot to zero it out with the sling on. What I can do now while she's standing in the device is I can now zero it out while she's standing. It's zeroed out, and now once I lower and take her out of the device, So now you can see it's registering her at negative 65.2 kilograms. So I now need to put the sling back on. It'll now factor her weight and give me again the negative 64.6 kilograms. So I've now gotten her weight twice, and it's a consistent weight. In the event of a failure, maybe the battery is dead, maybe the machine is not working, and I need to do an emergency lower, I simply need to raise this red piece over here, and it will bring her down slowly and surely. Then I would disconnect her, finish my transfer, and then probably report the mechanical difficulty.